They always said Dad was quiet, stoic, tired. He worked hard. Sure, 2 jobs most of the time. But looking back, he was more than tired. He was exhausted. When the family buried him, they found the tapes a week after the funeral. Old camcorder tapes, labeled by hand, wrapped in duct tape, buried at the back of the attic under loose boards, exactly where their father knew they'd look if he ever didn't come back. On all the boxes, in his handwriting, they all said, "Do not open until I'm gone." Inside each box were over a dozen VHS tapes, a beat-up camcorder, and labels with dates going back to the late 90s. The first recording was from November 1998. The camcorder sits static on a shelf in the hallway. You see Dad kneeling outside my sister Ellie's door. She's maybe 6 years old then. He's pouring a line of salt and whispering something. A chant? A prayer? Suddenly, something moves at the end of the hallway. A long shadow slithers across the ceiling. Dad doesn't flinch. He opens a drawer and pulls out what looks like a charm or talisman. The thing stops inches from the salt line and backs off. Dad stays there all night. Next was footage labeled Noah, May 2001. On the screen, Dad's holding him maybe 3 years old at the time and rocking him gently while humming. But behind them, in the kitchen window, there's a reflection. A tall figure, thin and pale, just staring. Dad doesn't turn around, but he reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a small mirror. He holds it toward the window. The reflection in the mirror screams, but there's no sound, just static. Noah never even wakes up. Following that was Noah, September 2002. In the footage, Noah is in his room asleep, clutching a plastic truck. The nightlight flickers. Then the door creaks open, but not from the hallway, from the closet. You can't see what comes out, just that it's tall and wrong, like it shouldn't be able to fit inside that space. Suddenly, Dad bursts into the room, calm, focused. He whispers something to whatever's standing there, holds up something small, a carved wooden charm, and slowly steps forward. Whatever it is backs away, like it knows it's not allowed to touch him. He never wakes Noah, just tucks him in tighter, places the charm beneath the bed, and turns off the camera. There was also a recording titled, Luna Helps. You see Luna pacing near the baby's crib. That was Ava, the youngest. Dad is drawing symbols on the carpet. The air grows heavy on the screen, like the camcorder itself struggles to stay on. A toy clatters to the floor on its own. Ava stirs, but Luna, she gently presses her paw against the crib, calming the baby. Then she moves between the crib and the doorway, tail stiff, ears back. Dad whispers, "Good girl, no barking, just protect." The tape flickers, and a shadow steps into frame, but it never gets past Luna. Then came Maya, April 2004. She's sitting at the kitchen table coloring. It's daytime, but the light feels gray, like a storm is coming. She pauses, crayon in midair, and slowly turns her head, listening to something we can't hear, a faint whisper, a voice only she hears. Suddenly she stands up and starts walking toward the basement door. She unlatches it, and right before she can go down, Dad's voice calls out from another room, not yelling, just loud enough. "Hey Maya," ice cream's melting. She stops. She blinks, confused, like she just woke up. The door swings shut behind her on its own. When she returns to the table, there's a mark on her drawing, a smudge shaped like a hand, but with 6 fingers. An unlabeled tape dated February 2005 offered something chilling, a slow, quiet recording from under a chair in Grandma Rose's room. She's humming to herself, half asleep in her rocker. Luna lays beside her, ears perked, eyes open, not resting. Then, the clock stops ticking. The second hand halts. A shadow stretches across the floor from beneath the closet. Even though the light is coming from the opposite direction, Grandma doesn't notice. She just smiles and talks softly, thinking she's alone. I can smell your soap, Henry." She murmurs her late husband's name. "You always came around when the weather turned cold." But Luna stands, low growl barely audible. The camcorder flickers as the shadow creeps toward Grandma's feet. Luna lunges forward, not barking, just pushing herself between the rocker and the shadow. Her teeth flash, but no sound comes out. She stays frozen there, tail stiff. Then suddenly, the light flickers back. The clock ticks again. The shadow retracts like it was never there. Grandma blinks. "Silly girl," she says, patting Luna's head. "You must have heard a squirrel outside." She never saw or knew about what almost took her, but Luna did. Other videotape. Lucas, June 1999. The older son. Lucas was only 3 at the time, too young to remember what happened in the attic. The video shows Dad carrying him upstairs, whispering lullabies as Lucas nods off. But instead of going to bed, Dad takes him to the attic. There's already a chalk circle drawn on the floor. Surrounded by nails and twine, Dad sets Lucas gently in the middle of the circle and places a tiny bell in his hands. Outside the attic door, something pounds. Once, twice, then stops. Dad stands in front of the door the whole time. Doesn't flinch. Eventually, the camera cuts out. Lucas, years later, never understood why he's always hated bells. A tape, labeled Sophia, March 2005. Our mom. The tape shows Mom in the kitchen, alone, washing a pan. It's late. Everyone's asleep. She suddenly stops moving, her hands still under running water. Her head tilts unnaturally far to one side. A shadow creeps across the ceiling, not like something passing by, but like something entering her. Her reflection in the window doesn't match her movements. Her lips start whispering, but not in her voice. Something old, rhythmic, in a language none of us know. Then, the kitchen light explodes. Glass falls like ash. The door bursts open. Dad rushes in, chalk in one hand, an old rosary soaked in black oil in the other. He wraps it around her wrist and shouts something not caught by the camera mic. Her body goes limp. For a moment, it's like something pulls itself out of her, a tall, twisted silhouette against the backsplash tile. Before it vanishes, he gently lifts Mom, like a sleepwalker, and carries her out. The tape cuts to static, just as he lays her down in bed. She never woke up during any of it. She never knew, until now. And we watched a lot of tapes, with one of us involved in different situations. But finally, the last tape, labeled Last Night. It's dated just 3 days before he died. Dad sits alone in the living room. Candles flicker low. His face looks pale, drained, older than they remember. Then, the power flickers. Behind him, that same shape rises up. He doesn't turn, just clenches his fist, filled with salt and fire. He speaks directly to the camera. "If you're watching this, it means I'm gone. I've marked every corner of this house, called every old name, fought in silence while you slept. And tonight, I bound the last one, the ashen one, the thing that started all of it. It's over now. You're safe. Every night for 17 years, I've fought to keep you guys safe. You thought I was working late, but I was learning, fighting, binding. You thought I was tired. I was just worn down from war." He smiles just a little and said, "Tell Luna she was a good girl. Tell your mother the cross worked and that I loved her. And I loved you guys. And if you ever hear the scratching again, don't open anything. Don't talk to it. And never, never throw away the salt." He leans forward, eyes heavy, and said, "Happy Father's Day." And then the tape ends, not with static, with silence. We never saw our dad as a hero, just a tired man. But he wasn't tired. He was fighting for us while we slept. Every family has their protector, but our protector just left us the instructions on tape.